All right, so we're here in the United States. These regulations aren't officially being implemented here, but will it have an impact on what happens to me and my data?
Yes, it will. So companies have to get their whole house in order on the back end. They have to connect data, and many companies are opening up, allowing you to download the data that you put into the service, and that's really because of European law. Also, if you are traveling into Europe or you travel around the world, you may have access to these rights. So if you use Uber in other countries, especially in Europe, you might have the ability to request your data from journeys abroad and what happened to you when you were abroad, even if you're based in the US. So it's not about citizenship, it's about where you're based and where data collection happens.
So requesting the data is one thing, but can I have control over it? Can I ensure that it's not used in a way that I'm not approving of?
If you're dealing with European companies, you can. And many people around the world can do this as well, because companies like Uber serve Americans from America, and they serve the rest of the world from the Netherlands. So everybody in the world has European rights, except for people based in the US. So really, this is a case of the US not having a stronger legal regime, and the rest of the world maybe benefiting from these stronger rights and obligations.
So then do you feel sort of this is the beginning of a wave of regulation that we'll see in the tech industry, that it's inevitable because of the way we're so interconnected?
Definitely, and it shows that this is not a business crippling law. And in fact, if these companies have to deal with this law in relation to a huge portion of the world, the idea that it stops innovation is kind of a myth.
You know, you wrote in April that we should sort of ignore some of the promises from Mark Zuckerberg in regards to, EU data and privacy guidelines. Do you still believe that? And do you feel confident about the regulations being implemented?
Yeah, so I believe that Facebook are operating implementing a very limited version of the GDPR, and that's quite problematic. So when they say they're giving American users access to privacy settings, these users in America don't have the option to go to courts or regulators to have those enforced. Whereas in Europe, we're going to see Facebook pushed to obey the letter of the law, not just how they interpret it that makes sense with their business model.
All right, Michael Veale, thank you so much for explaining to us something that can be pretty confusing. We appreciate it.